Hello everybody, I got a new box today. This one is from Darksword Armory. Per my recent rules that I have imposed on myself, I will be unboxing this box with the thing that I opened from my last unboxing. So in case you didn't see that, that is the Glamdring sword. Now if you saw that unboxing, you'll know that this sword is quite sharp, but using swords to unbox things is not the most practical. Gordon Ramsay says, just let the blade do the work. The last couple unboxings I've done have been fantasy style swords. For this one, I decided to go with something historical. This is a sword I've been eyeing for a little bit. Perfect. Wow. It came with this nice little envelope thing from Darksword Armory. Ooh, $25 off my next order. A little thank you note. It says that it was inspected and did a quality control thing. Okay, that's very cool. A little thing of instructions. Did I get more than one coupon? Oh, this is amazing. Ooh, okay. This box kind of seems similar to how you receive things from Cult of Athena, in case you're wondering, which is just like a box with a bazillion things of brown packing paper. This sword here is the Black Prince sword. How on earth? There's so much saran wrap. Ooh, the texture on this handle feels very nice. We're almost there. Oh yes, the scabbard is free. Okay, this is the Black Prince sword. I got this with just the scabbard without the sword belt configuration. I got it in all black because, I feel like that just fits the theme of Black Prince sword. I got it sharpened, so we'll see how their sharpening is. This is the second purchase that I've done from Darksword Armory. The first one I did was the Alexandria sword from them, and that is actually probably my favorite sword that I own. In the near future, I'm going to be doing a full review of that one. And when I saw this looked more like a longsword that prioritized thrusting over cutting. I had one of those. It was from Cold Steel. It was the Italian longsword, and it broke doing some very light cutting. It was pretty embarrassing. So I wanted to get another longsword that seemed more dedicated towards thrusting. I liked the design of this one. The story of the Black Prince, which was Edward, Prince of Wales. He was called the Black Prince because of the blued/black armor that he would wear. He was a military commander from a very young age. He won some pretty awesome battles, and he also died at a very young age from dysentery. It's kind of a bummer. We don't 100% know what his sword would have looked like because it was stolen. However, the sword that this sword was based off of was found, and they think it may have been his. They're not 100% sure. What Darksword Armory does is they'll find a historical piece that they like, and then they will go and make it their own. So they don't always do one-for-one copies. That's the case with their Alexandria sword. They take inspiration from that piece, and then they'll design it to the way that they like. I do like the way that wheel pommels look, but then I don't like typically being that close to the wheel pommel all the time. They tend to make their grips a little bit longer. I'm guessing they have the same taste I do, so you don't have to choke all the way down the wheel pommel. And then I really like their peen blocks. And this peen actually looks really clean. Like you can see that it's there, but there's no hammer marks or anything like that. There's some decoration on the pommel here. It looks like it's 4 hearts. I mean, they're not perfectly symmetrical. They look handmade. This wheel pommel feels really comfortable, surprisingly comfortable. There's some dimension on here. This grip, wow, the texture on this grip feels very nice. You can feel the seam. This is not the cleanest seam that I felt. I like this sword, so I don't want to try and pick it apart, but you can get a nail in here. So you probably could peel this back if you really wanted to. We'll have to see how that holds up with time. I will tell you, the other sword that I have from Darksword Armory, I've had for years. All the fittings and everything has stayed really tight with that one. So I'm hopeful that it'll be the same with this. Here's the cross guard. You could maybe say that's a tiny bit thick here. Now going to the scabbard, I really like Darksword Armory scabbards. The first scabbard that I got from Darksword Armory was the first scabbard that I had with a rain guard. And the fact that they just kind of had that standard, I was like, wow, that's amazing. I like the grooves here. That just gives it a little bit more texture. Looking at the stitching here on the back, I mean, I don't know if they machined these. That looks great. The line looks very straight. See if there's any rattle. There's no rattle. Check retention. Yeah, if I shake it, it comes out a little bit. It seems like the perfect amount of retention. You can still draw it pretty easily. This is hollow ground. I can make out a little bit of rippling, but it's not terrible. There's a nice polish on it. Feels great. As you guys can see, relatively thin blade. This is something random. Here's the maker's mark. I like it. Valor Arms does something similar where they stamp something in. I like it. This is what you should do as a maker, like what Valor Arms does, what Darksword does. I do not like it when they just write some really long name, like Honshu on all their stuff. They write Honshu. It's terrible. Don't do that. I like a nice, cool maker's mark. That's so much nicer. Handling wise, feels great. It reminds me a little bit of, like if you've played The Witcher, like the Witcher games, they have sort of the same blade profile. And this just looks really nice. Yeah, it feels great. Very easy to maneuver. Let's check sharpness real quick. Ooh, let's try the other edge. At the very end, there's a little bit of tearing. I'm going to do a quick comparison with 3 other longswords. The model that was originally from Valor Arms that Hanshu picked up. There's like a nice little ring here. Crossguard looks similar. Blade profile looks similar. Also hollow ground with a strong central ridge. Like these crossguards look very, very similar. And the blade profiles look very, very similar. Obviously, there's a difference in the pommel and there's a difference in the overall size. So the one from Darksword is a little bit bigger overall. And this is the Hanshu one. You can tell me which one looks nicer. Which maker's mark? This one, obviously. Gosh dang it, Hanshu, why do you... I don't want to be cutting with a... Look, Hanshu even has like a little mark right there. Just Hanshu. Just put the little thing after Hanshu. That looks much better than Hanshu. They even have the rain flat. Both these swords feel incredibly maneuverable. The blades are not particularly wide, and the hollow ground makes them lighter. Comparison number 2. This is the Cold Steel Hand and a Half Sword. Both of the swords I just showed are cheaper than this. Both of these are in the low $200 price point for the Cold Steel and Hanshu sword. And this one, depending on, if you're getting it sharpened, if you're getting it with the belt system, everything like that. So this one could be somewhere between $600 and $700. So obviously this one is more expensive. Size-wise, this one has a slightly longer blade. The handle size is not that much different. And finally, so this is what it looks like if you get the full integrated belt system. I have some spacers here for the belt to lock in and not slide around. Their belts are not terrible. I do think if you want a belt system to carry it around, I think you'd be fine just paying the extra and getting the belt system from Darksword Armory. They're pretty good for the price. It's not that much more expensive. I decided to go for it on this one because, again, this is my favorite style sword, the 18C, and I just really like the Darksword one. If I'm going to carry around something, it's probably going to be this one. You can see that the crossguard, again, looks very similar. Not all of their swords happen to have the same crossguard. I guess you can just tell, but I happen to like this type of crossguard. This is two types of longsword, and it's crazy to me how much variation there are in longswords. You can also probably tell that I like wheel pommels with peen blocks. Now, something about the Alexandria one, there's also some slight discoloration. That is from me. Here are the differences in length. The Alexandria one weighs more, even though it's a little bit shorter, but you can probably tell that that is because of how much extra mass there is at the bottom of the blade. And you can see all the same. Here's the texture. Here's the very nice stitching. Here's the rain guard, like very dark sword. On this one, there's also a seam. Like it's not nearly as noticeable on my Alexandria sword as it is on this one. Hopefully you guys like seeing the Black Prince sword. This is definitely one of my longer long swords and it has those Witcher vibes. All right, well, I'm gonna oil this and put this away.